Golf News RI presents the Golf Dudes Podcast. Here are the dudes.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Golf Dudes Podcast. Joe Calabro here. Hope everyone's having a great Thursday. Hope everyone had a great New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. So thanks for tuning in. Lots to get to. And first, we should tell you that the Golf Dudes Podcast is brought to you by Link Strings. Link Strings is best known for their transfusion in a can. Transfusion is vodka, ginger ale, and grape juice, all mixed up into one refreshing beverage. Of course, they have three total flavors now: the regular Link Strings Transfusion, then they have the back nine and the front nine. So check those out at liquor stores and country clubs near you, or golf clubs near you. And again, we thank Link Strings for their support. Exciting week here at Golf News RI. Obviously, you saw the other day we're launching a second podcast. Jeff Marone is going to host it along with Austin Silly. Austin is one of the top amateur golfers in the state. He's also a former basketball star, so he has a lot of perspective on a lot of things. I believe the plan is for all the episodes to be taped at the Vintage Cigar Lounge, either the one in Westerly or the one in Charlestown, throughout the course of the year. So that's going to be really exciting. So throughout the year, we'll have, by all means, you can go down there and hang out and smoke a cigar and listen to the podcast and have a drink, whatever you want to do. We'll sign autographs if you want. So that was super exciting yesterday. We're building out a little bit of a podcast network here. So obviously we'll have this podcast, their podcast, and we're hoping to add one or two more for now. And see what happens. So super exciting stuff. Again, the first episode is going to be it's going to air on January 18th, which is a Wednesday. I think their plan is to do Wednesday, to drop their episodes on Wednesdays, as not to interfere with our show. Not that it really matters all that much, but just keep it simple. So that was really exciting. So I'm really pumped to see what they have in store and what we can do with their show, and also what we can do with Vintage Cigar Lounge. Obviously, we announced them coming on as an advertiser earlier this week as well. We have tons of content planned with them, not only with the podcast, but we're also going to do the Golf Cigar of the Week from every week from about April to October or so, tentatively. So that's really exciting. And obviously, golf and cigars, like I said in the statement, golf and cigars really kind of go hand in hand. So this pretty much was a no-brainer, and they're really excited to work with us, and we're obviously excited to work with them. So two big announcements right off the jump, right after the new year, and hopefully we'll have more to come. But those are the two big ones. So we also, as you might have seen some of the reels, we also launched new hats for the 2023 season. New year, new lids has been the hashtag that I've been using. So I've been rocking the black one a lot. I wore it last night at the PC game. I wear it all the time. I think the black one is really cool looking. The black hat with the white Golf News RI logo. But this is the white hat with the logo. So it's just the regular colors, the regular color scheme. But the white ones are pretty cool too. They're significantly better than the hats we had originally. They look a lot better. It doesn't look like there's a sticker on the hat. So these are significantly better. The ones we used originally were from a different company, but they weren't very good. But they also could have been just user error. I mean, I don't know much about making hats. Didn't know much about making hats. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just wanted to do something on the hat, and that's what I got. But it just didn't look ideal. So these are significantly better. I'm significantly better at making merchandise. So that's exciting too. So check out those hats in the Golf News RI Pro Shop. We also have one which I never got in the mail yet. We also have one that just says Golf News RI across the front in red lettering, and on the back is like a small logo. So We're trying to step up our merchandise game a little bit. Obviously, we're not a merchandise company, and we're not gonna do crazy numbers of merchandise and push out crazy uh amounts of merchandise necessarily. But if we're gonna have a pro shop or we're gonna have stuff, I feel like one of the things that I have to do better this year is to put a little bit of effort into it, a little anyway. So that's what we're trying to do. So we kick off the year with some new hats. They look cool. Again, my favorite one is the black one. I've been rocking it for like 4 straight days. So and it matches with my PC gear, which is one of the reasons why I made it black and white. To be honest with you. Anyway, so that's some of the stuff that's going on. Obviously, as far as the golf goes, we're in mid-January here. Congrats to everyone who played down in Florida over the break. I know we touched on it last year. The biggest event coming up we have, as far as it pertains to locally, is really Davis Chatfield making his Korn Ferry Tour debut in 2 weeks. So it's not this week, obviously, and it's not next week. It's the week after. So approximately 2 weeks. So we'll have coverage of that. Of course, we're going to publish his full schedule once we get that confirmed. And really exciting stuff, obviously, for him. He's already left the area. He's going to be playing out of TPC Sawgrass. I was down in Florida, so doesn't suck. He'll certainly get his share of practice in down there. And then his first 2 tournaments are in the Bahamas. So again, not a terrible way to start the year. So that is where he is, and we'll have full coverage of his round, of his run, of his Korn Ferry Tour run through 8 events. We'll have probably the best coverage of anybody, so that's good. So that's what we have going on. Of course, today, Thursday, marks the return of the PGA Tour. So always an exciting day. They're playing down in Hawaii at the Tournament of Champions, and it's in prime time. Prime time golf is nothing better than prime time golf. So I believe coverage begins around 6 o'clock tonight. So I'll obviously be watching that, and it should be an interesting year for the PGA Tour. They've changed their schedule all around. They have they have lifted events. That's not the word I'm looking for, but they have some events that are worth more than others in order to compete with Live Golf and try to get the best players to play in all these tournaments and play together more often. That was the goal. Or elevated events. I said lifted, elevated events. They're calling it. And today's tournament, or this weekend's tournament, I guess, technically, is one of those elevated events, and that's why they have a number of the top players playing. Of course, it's in Hawaii, so it's a pretty easy sell for these guys, I would think. But it is interesting, and somebody brought this up on our Facebook page. It is interesting that Rory McIlroy isn't playing this week, and he's somebody that's been very outspoken about obviously the live situation and everything going on in the game of golf. And he was one of the people that he was one of the players that were at the forefront of doing these elevated events. And so it's just interesting that he's not here, if he's not playing this week. So, but it should still be a great tournament. You have Justin Thomas, you have Jordan Spieth, Patrick Cantlay, Colin Morikawa, and a number of the top players, Scotty Scheffler, of course. So it should be fun to watch. It should be interesting to see what the PGA Tour season looks like. Obviously, heading into the first tournament and see where it goes from there. Of course, I believe Live starts in February. If I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be another interesting year, another fascinating year of professional golf. You look at, are there going to be more players jumping to Live? It's hard to tell because Live says they have a full roster right now. But obviously things change. And right now the battle is really going to be in the courts. They're going back and forth with court cases between the PGA Tour and Live, lawsuits and all kinds of stuff. So it's not the most exciting thing to watch. Certainly not the most exciting thing to cover, for sure. But that's kind of where the battle of professional golf stands. And Patrick Cantlay made some interesting comments yesterday during his press conference at the Tournament of Champions, because him and Schauffele have been rumored to be going to the Live forever now. And obviously they're kind of a package deal, right? They're best friends. They hang out together all the time. Their wives hang out together all the time. So the thought is they're basically a package deal. If one of them is going to go to Live, the other one's going to go, vice versa. So this has been rumored for a while, and it obviously has not come to fruition yet. But Patrick said yesterday he's not going to Live, but he likes the idea of competition, because competition makes everybody better, and he believes that this Live is going to make the PGA Tour better with the elevated events and other various things. Obviously, the pay increases along the way. So I thought it was interesting comments from him. For someone who's been rumored to go to Live, and he said he's not going, of course, but he didn't completely shut down Live and say it was terrible or it's not interesting or anything like that. So I thought that was interesting. So Central Tournament of Champions tonight. PGA Tour season begins. Always an exciting time. They play the first two tournaments, of course, in Hawaii before returning to the States. So always a fun time of year, and at least we only have a couple months until our golf season begins. Hopefully in March. I know some of you already played. Some of you are out there. I see your pictures and Instagram posts and everything else. Some of you have already been out there at least once, if not more than once, this year, which is crazy. But good for you guys. Hopefully you played well. Hopefully you had fun, and hopefully it wasn't too cold. I know the weather has been unseemly warm this week. Within all relative, of course. It's really not that warm out, but it's warmer than it usually is. So to all you who've already played, congratulations. That's the earliest the golf season has ever started, it feels like. So that's what we have going on. Right now, let's take a quick commercial break. This is the Golf Dudes podcast, and we'll be back in a second. Billy Andre joins the show. Billy, thanks so much for doing this, and we appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm very excited to be joined by an 11-time Emmy Award winner, and that is Armin Katayan.
Massachusetts Women's Amateur Champion Allison Paik.
The days of the country club just being golf and maybe one amenity are gone. Unfortunately, Metacomet doesn't have those.
He has a very rare condition called kyphoscoliotic Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And at the time of diagnosis, there was only 60 documented cases in the world.
When we legitimately played the last 4 holes at Newport National, you could not see 50 yards.
And welcome back to another episode of the Golf Dudes podcast. I'm Joe Calabro. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. And again, we hope you are having a great day and a great week and a great start to your new year. Obviously, there's been a lot going on. A big week for us, as we've announced a new podcast, we've announced a new advertising deal, and we launched new hats, which is exciting. So this is the white one. Here's a black one that you've surely seen as well. So we're starting the new year off with a bang, which I think is the only way to start it off. Again, we talked about the podcast a little bit, the new podcast that we're launching. There's still going to be a Golf Dudes podcast, and we're launching a second podcast featuring Jeff Marone, who of course who works with us and helps me a lot on editing stuff and social media content. And he's going to be doing more and more as the season gets closer, of course. And Austin Silly is going to join him, which is awesome. I'm really excited for it. Once Jeff mentioned to me that Austin was looking to be a part of it, I said, absolutely, let's do it. If he wants to do it, then absolutely. I think he'll offer great insight. He's obviously one of the top players in the state. He's also a former basketball star. And he's into business and training and all these other things. So He's going to be offering great insights onto any number of issues that they talk about. The podcast is called Expand Your Brand. It doesn't sound like a golf podcast, but I can assure you they're going to talk a lot about golf and branding, about golf and business, and all the various different things. So it's a catchy title. I kind of liked it. And so really excited to have them doing that. And that's going to launch on January 18th. I believe the plan is for all their episodes to be taped at the Vintage Cigar Lounge, our new sponsor, our new advertiser rather. And they'll be, having a cigar during the podcast. They'll be having a drink for sure. So it's totally relaxed conversation. It should be fun. They'll have guests on. Perhaps I hope they invite me to come on, but maybe they won't. So super excited to have them. Super excited for their podcast to kick off. And we're excited to work with them and work with Austin and help him expand his brand as well. So super excited for that. That's a big story. That's big news, and we're pumped. So we're just looking to continue to grow and do more as the years go on here. As we become more, we're already a huge factor, obviously, in the golf community, and we're just looking to do more and more, and see where it goes. So thanks everybody for following along. So again, that new podcast called Expand Your Brand launches on January 18th. This is a Wednesday, or episode 1 launches on January 18th. If you saw the article, there was a little bit of like on the bottom, there was like a teaser trailer kind of thing for it. So that was pretty well done. So check that out. And again, it's called Expand Your Brand. It's going to be a great conversation about golf, about business, about branding, and all kinds of other stuff. So good stuff there. So that's coming January 18th. And then as far as other things going on in the golf world, Davis Chatfield kicks off his Korn Ferry Tour schedule in a couple of weeks, as we talked about. And he has 8 tournaments to play well and kind of earn more tournaments. So the pressure is kind of on right from the beginning, but he does have some time. So it'll be fascinating to follow, be fascinating to watch. And again, I named him as one of my men's players to watch in 2023 because there's not too many times where us here in Rhode Island we have a guy or have someone playing high level golf on the PGA Tour, on one of the kind of the feeder tours, which obviously the Korn Ferry Tour is basically the minor league system for the PGA Tour, if you will. And so I think he's the story. He's going to be the story for the first couple of months here, at least, if not probably hopefully longer. And then obviously you have the college golf stuff kicking up. Really excited for the URI season for golf. I think they have a really great team. Talking to some of these guys doing the college golf winter break series podcast that we did, talking to Coach Burke, talking to Brandon Gillis, Aiden O'Donovan. They have a lot of players that can make some noise. So perhaps we'll be talking about a URI golf NCAA berth at the kind of beginning of the spring here. That'd be exciting for sure, and I think it would do a lot to help college golf grow a little bit in Rhode Island. But we'll see how they do. It should be a fun year for them as well. So lots going on. PGA Tour starts tonight. It should be interesting. It's always fun to see the first tournament of the year, see these guys out there basically for the first time, and see what everybody looks like. See, obviously the course is going to be playing easy. These not. The only down part about this part of the PGA Tour schedule, obviously, it's exciting that the PGA Tour is back, but the courses aren't exactly, that difficult. So scoring is usually crazy. The putting, usually comes down to all putting, which golf does anyway at the end of the day. But more so in these tournaments, guys are drilling putts from everywhere, hitting crazy shots. So if you're looking for something that's, to see these guys get challenged right off the bat, don't think you're going to see it in these first couple of weeks. But after that, it gets interesting with Torrey Pines and Riviera and places like that. So, but the PGA Tour returns tonight, Thursday night, with the Tournament of Champions over in Hawaii. Should be fun, at least anyway, something to watch for sure. So, yeah, so lots going on. Next week we'll do a more in-depth preview of Davis Chatfield's run, or the start of Davis Chatfield's run at the Korn Ferry Tour, and we'll have all kinds of coverage leading up to that as well. As for the rest of this week, coming tomorrow, I'm actually coming tomorrow afternoon, I'm actually taping an interview with Will Dixon. Of course, with Davis Chatfield and the excitement of Davis, we obviously don't want to forget about the other guys that are in the pros, which is Will Dixon and Christopher and Core. And obviously Patrick Welch is going to be in the pros in just a few months. So we're really excited to talk to Will on Friday, and that interview will be up on Friday afternoon at the latest. So really excited to talk to Will. Excited to talk to him about, kind of reflecting on his 2022 season, what he has in store for 23. Obviously, he's disappointed to not be on the Korn Ferry Tour, to not make it through Q school, but it's not easy, obviously. And he still had a great year with winning a bunch of tournaments, getting some money in his pocket, getting his name kind of out there. So I'm really excited to talk to him tomorrow, and we'll have that interview up in the afternoon. So we are rolling on here in Golf News RI, and we'll keep you posted on any other updates and anything else going on. Hopefully we'll have a few more cool announcements in the coming weeks. But for now, we are focused on this new podcast, focused on some merch and some other things and some other big stories as well. One of the things that excites me about the new year is what's going to be the first big story of 2023. What's going to be the big breaking story that no one can believe or people are stunned about, or whatever it may be. So I'm excited to find that out. And we have a few in the hopper. I can't tell you where they are, of course, but we do have a few in the hopper that we're working on to roll out for you. So always an exciting time of year, new opportunities, new adventures, and so on and so forth. So thank you to everyone who's followed us from the beginning. Thank you to all the new followers and everybody in between. So appreciate all your support. We're looking to grow in 2023, have a big year, and do more with everything. Do more with amateur coverage, do more with our own golf, kind of put some of our own golf content out there, just, for fun, really, and do more, podcasting, do more with high school golf and everything else. So it should be a great year. Hopefully it'll be a great year. Hopefully it's a great year for all of you guys as well. And thanks to everyone for following along. And we will talk to you next week. And again, next week we'll have a kind of a more in-depth preview of Davis Chatfield's Korn Ferry Tour debut, as it'll be just a couple days or a week away. So that is where we are. And this has been the Golf Dudes podcast. And I'm Joe Calabro. Thanks again to everybody for tuning in. Thanks for your support. And we will talk to you next week.